Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Oh, David, I am devastated that Africa will rise against Africa. And even so broken that South Africa, that is a beneficiary of the collective solidarity of the African people, will be the one expelling people of the same color. You don't know where to start from. The government of Ramaphosa is sponsoring half-naked persons to be on the streets, brutalizing, dislocating fellow Africans. And when I heard the chaff from Ramaphosa's mouth, when he was questioned that whether he was disappointed by the demonstrations, he said he was not disappointed, and that they were exercising their democratic rights, which is enshrined in their constitution. What were they demonstrating against? Going around, removing people? That just signifies how useless the government of Ramaphosa is. They have lost total control and total direction. They are not in charge. They allow hoodlums, half-naked persons, to be on the streets, to be asking other nationals to go. How did those people enter South Africa if they were illegal? And if you are illegal, are they not official institutions that are responsible for dealing with illegal migrants? Must it just be ordinary citizens that wake up and say that we have taken the law into our hands, our government is irresponsible, and therefore we, nobodies, will go half naked on the streets, harassing and haranguing other people who have entered the country? There's no immigration in South Africa. There's no police in South Africa. What is Ramaphosa telling the rest of Africa? What is Ramaphosa telling the rest of Africa? You see, we don't have to mince words in dealing with this government-sponsored attacks on other Africans. Julius Malema has come to state that, look, in the first instance, he said, why are you rising against, if there is a failure of providing jobs in this country, it could not be the foreigners, it is the responsibility of the government. How is it the case that the foreigners are responsible for lack of job opportunities for you? So the many people, the Nigerians, the Ghanaians that have returned, have their jobs been given to the South Africans who are demonstrating? Has that job been given automatically to the half-naked people on the streets? Didn't the Ghanaians return to Ghana, about 300 of them, before the June 30th protest? Were the jobs given to the South Africans? What is this nonsense about? And why are we tolerating South Africa in the affairs of Africa? You see, you talk about you don't use fire to extinct fire, but you don't also go and use your hand to remove a hot metal, right? When iron is in fire or a metal is in fire, you look for a metal to humble it. You don't go and put your hand Because if you do that, you know the consequences. Ramaphosa has shown complete disregard of African solidarity. And I don't know why Ghana is still keeping an ambassador in South Africa. We should expel the South African ambassador from Ghana or High Commissioner from Ghana and recall ours. We don't need any relationship with people who don't want us. If you say you don't belong to me, I must not belong to you. South Africa doesn't deserve an iota of respect from any African. And you come to talk about the Alien Compliance Act. Why was it revoked? Because it was not good. It was not good. You don't learn from the errors of others. Right? You improve upon situations. When Buzia introduced the Alien Compliance Act, its consequences were well known and documented. The reactions of Nigeria are well known and reported. 99 days in Agege and others, we know the stories. Today, Ghana and Nigeria, we are like this. This useless thing that the government of South Africa is behind the scenes trying to use that one to cover its failure to respond to people's demand for jobs, to respond to the economic differences between the have and the have-nots. You don't use your inability to provide leadership and allow your citizens to go rowdy on others. I don't think it's justified.
Well, so those are indications. So as we're talking, right, it looks like we're going to have that diplomatic route, and we pray it doesn't really happen. Because the South African government, they are disputing the claim.
John should expel the ambassador, the High Commissioner.
Diplomacy hasn't come.
No, you should expel him.
We can still use
cancel
diplomatic
it.
channels.
No, Master. See, somebody slaps you.
Prove to them that we are more civilized.
No. We are civilized by telling them that we don't need a relationship with you. Pack your things and move.
Well,
we have over-tolerated this nonsense. That because we over-tolerate, this is not the first time it's starting.
Yeah.
It starts, then we think there is a pause. When the government is becoming unpopular, then the government goes to Stoke, then the people come up. Can I just get up and walk to any shop, any foreigner shop, and say that pack your things and go? And the laws of Ghana will permit that? Can I? By the time I finish moving from one shop to the next, the laws of Ghana will act. No individual or group of people have that good, what we call it, that capacity to just move from one place to the other, if it is not sponsored by the state. So look into Ramaphosa's eyes and tell him what it is that he is doing. He may not be contesting again in leadership for South Africa. He is guiding his leadership. But after that, we will see. So we don't need visa-free to South Africa. Cancel South Africans visa-free to Ghana. Let's begin to pull the knots. And I'm sure that if we tell South Africa we don't need them, and they say all Ghanaians should come, we will go to my farm, we will get lots of land, we will stay there. This is just unacceptable.
Well, there are over 300 of them already in Ghana. Maybe we can ask them to come to your farm.
So some are already getting better than they were doing in South Africa.
Right.
And you see, some ones of us don't think that our fortune lies outside of Ghana. Right? Some ones of us, we had opportunities to work outside of Ghana. We thought that we have a better opportunity in Ghana. When I go to my farm, I never get migraine. It's only when I come to Accra. I sit in traffic, I'm frustrated, what have you. Do you understand? I feel comfortable. Somehow, some people think that no, this environment is not suitable for them. And they want to go outside. When they go and they see the West, they come back.
Okay, so that's it for our African story, and we want to move to our next topic. It's got to do with just want to have a quick bite on this one, and then we start the discussion on the flooding concerns, and then we'll do the Black Stars, and then we'll call it a day. Every 30th of June, it's set aside to celebrate parliamentarism, right? So every 30th of June, they call it the International Day of Parliamentarism, and it's an annual event. So it was chosen to mark the anniversary of the founding of the Interparliamentary Union in 1889, the world's oldest global organization of national parliaments. Right, so this the importance of the day. It's set aside to highlight the role of Parliament in making laws and representing citizens, promote democracy, peace, and sustainable development, encourage transparency, accountability, and public participation in governance, celebrate progress toward more inclusive parliaments, including greater participation of women, young people, and underrepresented groups. All right, so these are the focal points for the day being set aside. I'm talking about June 30th as the International Day of Parliamentarism. Well, so there are parliaments all across the globe. Every country has got its set of, laws, regulations, setups, within the parliament. So in Africa, we have one. In Ghana here, we have our parliament. The big question is that as the parliaments, those in Africa, especially here in Ghana, as they live up, see parliament as an avenue now, to create, loot, and share. Let me just put it vividly. From what I'm gathering from Doc, it looks like that's the indication.
Well, let's congratulate Parliament first and foremost for the recognition 30th June set aside for celebrating the works of Parliament. It's also important to critique parliaments across Africa and what they have yielded, and also to realize that in most instances it appears that Parliament has become a begging house or institution in the hands of the executives. Anybody in the executive is seen as superior and has more control of state resources, more control of specific sector resources, that every member of Parliament want to be seen as a favored person in one institution or the other. If you are a parliamentarian and your communities need roads, you have to be in the good books of the roads minister, so that when they are doing their annual budgets and estimates, roads in your area can be captured in the budget statement first and foremost, before you can think about these roads being fixed. Whilst it may be a national call, your proximity to these persons in government will either bring or unbring. If you need health facilities, it is only the Minister for Health and the institutions under him that should be able to provide them. And so members of Parliament are seen to want to establish some familiar relationship so that their areas can get development. If you come from a community where there are no dams, particularly the northern parts, the ministry responsible for such will be the Ministry of Agriculture. And so you will see that members of Parliament will be running to the Ministry of Agriculture, virtually begging for these things to be done. And when eventually the minister is satisfied...
Lobbying is always allowed.
You are not permitting me to talk. Lobbying is not to go and be sitting at somebody's office. So you leave your job of Parliament and you are moving everywhere lobbying. Do you understand? So in the end, you realize that most of our parliamentarians have to move from one ministry to the other because every sector must be responsive to the various constituencies. You start from health, you start from transportation, you go to agriculture, you go to education, you go to environment. Which sector will one constituency not need the support of ministers? And therefore, our members of parliament's efficacy is berated. They are not able to perform the way they have to perform. There are instances that you know that a minister has not performed. He is being, when their party win, that minister is being reproposed or nominated by the president to go to parliament. And you see members of the opposition who naturally represents the society and societal interests lobbying their own friends within their side. They ask for this particular person, he is my friend, he's doing good, so please, when you go for the appointments committee, be kind so that he can come through. When such begins to happen, then you know that the institution of parliament has been overly compromised. What it ought to have delivered, it cannot deliver. Because in our campaigns, it is our pronouncements that gives the people the hope that members of parliament are actually the crucibles for development. Because if you go telling them that, well, the former MP, look at our roads, he didn't bring roads, and you become MP, you must fix the roads. When you do know that roads are an executive duty, right? Your main mandate is to go to parliament, make laws, and occasionally lobby for some projects to come to your area. But the executive, and particularly the municipal, metropolitan, district chief executives, they are directly clothed with authority to bring about certain development roads, but the members contesting for parliament are the ones who make these pronouncements louder. And the people want to see somebody that can bring these developments. Some of them are rich before going to parliament. And so individually, or they have the network that will be able to bring development even outside of government support. And so they are leveraging on their network, and that is to lead them. Unfortunately, the chunk of our members do not have the network. So they are counting on what government can bring. Their influence is so limited. In the end, you will see the kind of parliament we have. If you doubt me, Monday, Tuesday, go to parliament, to Friday, and count the number of members of parliament we have on the floor. Majority of them will come, enter their names, they are out. The worst for me, and I think that this Mr. Speaker should take up, people are elected members of parliament to come and work and perform, and they come and they leave parliament and they are in schools obtaining degrees. Go and check. Majority of our members of parliament have come to use parliament to obtain higher education degrees. If I want to list them, you'll be amazed. So you were elected to come and represent people, then you come and leave that one and you are in school.
But whilst that, can't you improve yourself also whilst in parliament? If
So
it's not going to affect your parliamentary
So you
duties.
leave the job of parliament.
No, I want us to create the distinction.
No, you leave the job of parliament.
If it's not going to affect your parliamentary duties, that can be allowed.
How is it not affecting? I just asked you to go to parliament and check the attendance. And I'm sure many occasions, it is only when there is something that the government wants to be done, then you see everybody run to the chamber. The chamber is full. Then thereafter, even when it comes to debate on the issues, only limited people come. It is when there is a vote that everybody is mauled to the hall or to the chamber to come and participate. That will tell you that it's affecting their performance. There are many constituencies that sometimes ask, we don't even see our member of parliament.
And even most times they don't even have the quorum to even run business.
We don't see our member of parliament. I can tell you he's a schoolboy or schoolgirl. So you went to get the mandate of the people and you are in school. Nobody has stopped anybody from seeking progress. But don't come and take our duty, our opportunity. We say we want somebody to come and represent us. You come and take it and come and leave it, and now you are in school. And so we should look at this more critically. Once at Parliament, and I've said this time without number, are you aware that in most institutions, people have what they call the government job, and they do what they call locum? So somebody is a doctor at Kolebu, but works in about 2 or 3 different private places. So he gets to the hospital at 10 o'clock at Kolebu, does his rounds. Specific patients come, then they tell you that, oh, as for this your case, I don't have time at Kolebu to attend to you. So if you want,
meet me there.
With me at my private place. And at the private place, before you can even go through, you are paying money. Worst case is that when they are not able to get the needed remedy for you at the private place, you are now referred again to Kolebu. You get it? Why are we allowing our state to be cheated? If you want to work as a public person, work as a public person. It must be a reason for which you should work as a public person. But don't go and be in the public sector. Use your public office, get the contacts of the sick people and other people. When they get there, then you divert them to your private place, and then the public places are run down. Then you, the same people who come and say they are not providing the essentials for the work to be done. That is not acceptable.
What about the primary objective, oversight responsibilities, especially over the executive?
Well, how do you exercise oversight when you are there begging? I thought that is the point I made. You have come to my ministry. You are begging for me to give you irrigated dam. After I've given you, there is something for you to scrutinize. Which one? Which authority? Will you come and say what? So whilst you were talking about lobbying, I see a collapse. I see a compromise in the duties and responsibilities of the Montesquieu. Is that Montesquieu? Yeah. Montesquieu principles. Yeah.
Separation of powers.
Whilst you are saying that there must be separation of powers, after you have separated them, someone is going under begging. There is a matter in court. You are looking for the judge to go and beg. Judge, please, this matter, temper justice with mercy, right? After that, how do you offer oversight over that particular person? It's not going to happen. So, you see, by the actions and our inactions, we have compromised the very principles upon which Montesquieu established his separation of powers principle. And why? Separation of powers also comes with responsibilities of powers. So the judiciary is supposed to have its part. The executive is supposed to have its part. Then the legislature. But of course, no one has called for watertight separation. Otherwise, no government can function.
All right.
Your letter.
The next important thing about the flooding, it is not, in my view, a leadership failure completely. Leadership has its part to play. But importantly, it is about attitudes. I can use my personal instances. I have been to the farm for a considerable time. I'm sure you know. You've been trying to catch me to your studio. I'm not around. For almost a month. And when I got to the farm, it's like we coming from home, we buy water. Sachet water mostly. Then, most of the workers which I've been trying to discourage, they buy these energy drinks. Because in their opinion, if they don't take that, they will not be able to farm. Then we use weedicides and pesticides. The cans, I'm sure one of the videos which I've shared with you, you will notice that I had to gather them and burn them. They use them and they throw them on the farm. There are instances I sit in the car and somebody drinks and throws something away, and you get a good knock from me. And I ask the driver to stop, go down and pick the sachet. Because it has become a part of us that you drink, you throw away. You eat, you throw away. We least expect that what we have thrown away in Sankana can get into Accra to cause havoc. But which direction is the water going? And if we are surrounded by 75% water, so that water can move from Sankana, and before you realize it's in Angloga, before you realize it is in Alajo. Right? The same water. So what you have thrown, you will think that, oh, it is here. As soon as the water carry it, it will start going. And before you realize, it has come to compound problems in one part. How is it the case that you drink water, and after you have drunk the water, the next thing is that you throw away a litter, and you are not concerned about it? A few days and times that I have been to Rwanda, Kigali, you dare not spit. You don't find plastic anywhere. Discipline is at the highest order. It is citizens' attitude that, look, if you throw it away, they will hold your hand to go and pick it. When you are not picking it, the law will charge you instantly. What has happened? David, when we were growing up, I was born in Abeka. And I used to hear town council. And when you see town council is coming, they say Sama. You know Sama? You know Sama? Sama means sermon. They are coming to sermon you. But when the town council people come and they find filth in your environment, they sermon you. Yeah. And when they sermon you, go and you are surcharged. So there were instances when they see the people moving, or in the next house, people go out and gather their rubbish, go and hide them under their beds. For the people to come and do the inspection, when they are gone, you go and find the appropriate place to go and dispose of. We did not have private sanitation agencies. Somehow, somewhere, we decided that the state responsibility in employing people to go around as sanitary inspectors should be hijacked by private profit maximizing institutions. So we give sanitation contracts. Oh, you are responsible for collecting garbage, rubbish. So once you have ingrained in me that somebody is earning money by coming round to pick rubbish, it means that you are telling me that I can throw away my things anyhow because somebody will be paid to come and collect it. Do you see where the mindset is coming from? Because why would somebody be paid, a private person, to be collecting the debt, and I will be trying to keep the debt? No, I will throw it. Go around and collect it so that you can earn your money. That is part of the challenge. Have you seen most of the water where we see? You see the water struggling to get passage. And because the gutters are choked, already they are open gutters. They are choked and the water is forcing its way to go through, fighting with these plastics that are choked it. The water will find its way on the road and off the road into our rooms. That is part of the challenge. The other challenge has to do with leadership. All of us know that Accra is low and the water is coming from across. So what do? You create check dams so that when the water is descending, it enters into a dam. It reduces the velocity and the ferociousness of the water. So if you create these check dams, about 4 or 5 of them along a certain path, by the time the water gets to Accra proper, the ferociousness has come down. So that is where leadership is. It is not about garrid program that monies are taken and this 10% of that money is put into the project. The other 90% is expended on what they call training, on consultancy, on, if you look at what Franklin Kujo published, you weep for this nation. So, see, until and unless there is an attitudinal change from all of us as to the way we dispose of, and also from government, because what has happened to the institution of sanitary inspectors? Why are we giving their jobs to private sector that we are paying more, 3 times more than we would have paid if we had employed these people to go around and then say charge people? In any case, in Rwanda, no policeman follows you. The traffic light, or what do we call it, the CCTV cameras will pick you and report you into a central system, and they will charge you, you will pay. And when you are paying the money, it goes to one institution. So when you pay, your name is cleared. And if it happens to you 3 times, even after you are paid, you will now go to jail for 5 days. And the next time you do it, the term is escalated. So without anybody even coming to you, you know that you have to do the right thing. Why is it that we are not able to do this? Why? Final one has to do with what we used to call town
and country planning.
Town and country planning. What has happened to them?
I think they still exist.
Okay, so they earn money.
They still exist.
They have directors, they have heads of departments, and they are not planning nothing. Go to every district, there is a planning officer. And you go there and the communities are not planned. Because when communities have to evolve, and the new communities that are evolving, okay, so when you go to a community called Wachoko, there's no market space allocated. The landlords have sold everything. There are no recreation centers created. There are no police stations created. There are no water created. Right? And yet, we have town and country planning officials, and we have planners at the assemblies. When these things happen, you say that, no, they should be removed from their office because they are not performing and they are earning income. Every institution in this country must be performing, not to be seen to be performing, must be performing. And I'm sure that individually, when we live up to our responsibilities, the government has no option than to also fulfill the part that it has been established to fulfill.
But are you so far okay with government's response? So far, since Monday.
What is the response? What response will recover the lives that we have lost? What response will be able to restore Kwame Jantua, who lost everything apart from the shoe he was wearing? But in his instance, we can say he's lucky that he was not at home. Because people cannot be found up to date. But we always make mistakes because these are reported ones. But there are people who are without parents. There are people who are without parents. Nobody knows where they come from, right? They were born on the streets. They grew up from the street. They have no knowledge of who their parents are. And so what we are reporting is that, oh, my daughter, my son, my father was taken away by the water. That is what we are talking about. But the harlots, the homeless, the mentally unstable, that possibly were carried. Nobody takes record of that. So our official statistics of how many people have gone is totally underreported. Because if you don't factor all these circumstances, you will think that it is only when I say that my relative cannot be located because the flooding affected their area. And so we should be mindful. So no response will be able to recover these losses. That's one. The second response is, we have repeated these responses. I remember June 3rd, 2016? 15. At Circle. We woke up, and what did we see? We saw that whilst water was consuming people, a fuel station was on fire. We spoke. At that time, we were blamed, or government was blamed for constructing now what is now called the Kwame Nkrumah Dubai, Circle Dubai. And that they did not clear. The place has been cleared. Lots of it. People have used this flooding to become foolishly rich. And the flood still occur.
Flood economy.
The flood is still here. Those who were responsible for the monies, over $130 million, where are they? That in the end, less than 10 million was expended in actual work. The money has been consumed. We are sitting down as a nation that we are helpless. No.
Well, sir.
David, to add to what Comrade also said, with your question whether government was prepared, I think they were not prepared. And I believe that as far back as May, GMET warned the various agencies, including NADMO, that the rains in June, July are going to be unprecedented, heavy. And so definitely they should take certain precautionary measures. So from that time till date, they could have at least initiated, they set up a task force since last year. So the lives that we've lost could have been prevented, because you can zone these areas, flood prone areas, okay? Now you create early warning signals and systems in place, okay? So that before even we get there, people are moved out of these waterways, because most of these people that are affected are the squatters that are living along these waterways. And we've seen it in Odo, Seko, we've seen it in Alajo, we've seen it in Achimota, Abofoot, right here. And so I think that there's blood on the hands of certain people, but unfortunately in this nation, people are not meant to account for their stewardship. And so I think that they could have done better, and they knew the situation. These are people that have been in government before and are not new to the challenges of the people of Ghana, but they could have done better.
Well, they said there's a flood mitigation exercise. I don't know whatever that means. We wait to see how it unfolds. All right, so
shouldn't it have been before?
We were expecting more rains.
Well,
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah, nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.